director over here is still getting it together.
Yeah, that's why you on.
I know.
What's good with it? Let me see who that is. We got it. I don't know who that was.
Is that one up there watching? Oh.
Yeah, all right, we good. Yeah, hold on.
Damn.
Security. I'm just fucking around. All right, let's get it jumping.
Alright, how y'all doing? This is episode 8. Decisions in a relationship. And one funny thing, this is just is related, but it's kind of not. So the last 2 weeks we haven't known what our topic was gonna be. So we come up with the formula. So one of us picks a number, and then we count from the top and the bottom and find what 2 topics those are, and then we flip a coin. So if you ever have issues making decisions, flip a coin.
Flip a coin. Best decision making apparatus ever. Hold on, let me get you all in there. And bam. All right, there you go. All right, let's get it. What's good with it? Armor Day ENT. This is Happy Marriage TV.
I'm Jessica.
Henry Jr. And today it's gonna be kind of crazy. Okay, so we're gonna talk about decisions. Okay, so before marriage, there were no decisions.
Well, there were, but there was no process on how we made decisions. We kind of just made them and dealt with them.
Pretty much. Yeah, so it was like she was on her own decision making. I was on my own decision making. So we pretty much ended up. I don't know if that was a good place before. You know,
No.
We wasn't really in a good place.
And also, Henry, early in our relationship, like before we lived together, he wasn't very open about anything, especially about decisions, because he was not comfortable letting people know what he was going to do, because like we've talked about in previous episodes, that his environment that he grew up in wasn't conducive to supporting him. So he had to learn how to make his own decisions, and if he told people what he was going to do, there was a chance that somebody was going to try to sabotage him or try to take advantage of him, especially when he started having to make decisions for himself at 13.
All right, so that's pretty much the real world too. So this pretty much the only person I share everything with, because I know she ain't gonna tell nobody or try to undercut me, because if she undercut me, she undercutting us. So you know what I mean, or short stop, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so pretty much that's before, but that's how I pretty much think a lot of people like that before they get in a serious relationship.
Right.
Like they don't really have to, because, and I think it was because the decisions I made didn't affect her. You know what I mean? Not in a detrimental way.
Well, he didn't realize they affected me. He didn't realize that even though we weren't living together, decisions that he made were going to affect me indirectly, because they were affecting him. So if he was upset, or when we first got together, he moved to Xenia. Neither one of us had cars. He moved to Xenia 2 months after we started dating. So, but that was just as an example. He made that decision, which it was the decision had to be made. But when he was making the decision, he wasn't thinking, well, how is this going to affect Jessica? Because at that time it didn't matter to him, because he had to take care of himself. That was his main priority at the time.
Yeah. So fast forward, what, 7 years?
7 or 7 years.
7 years. I decided that it was time to start making decisions together. So the first thing I did, I told her we needed to get up a joint bank account, where both of us have access to it, and that's where all the money go for the bills.
And that was before we got married.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? Because to me, it's marriage is still a mind state. You know what I mean? You got to think married in order to be married.
And prior to that, we split all the bills. So I handled the bills, but half of the bills came from him, and he would just give me the cash, and then I would pay the bills. So it really didn't change how we did anything. It just changed that dynamic of our money, because now, one, we get to see, we see how much each of us has. Like, we didn't always know how much each of us had money-wise. We just knew we had enough for the bills. So that added a different level of vulnerability, amongst us, and a comfort level for Henry, because he's like, well, look, she dealing with the money, I ain't got to worry about it. I just need to make sure I can get mine when I need to get gas or whatever. But I think that was important for him, because even after we got married, I would have been okay with the way we were doing things. It didn't matter to me as long as the bills got paid and, we were respectful of each other's money, But it's different now because, especially with us having kids, there's a lot of expenses that we didn't have before, and it's a lot easier for me to be like, okay, we're going to use it out the joint account, and then I'm going to put it back because I already had a bank account before we got together. So we just, all the money is our money. Like, my money that's in my account that I only have access to is his money too. It's just how he can access it. It doesn't mean that, I'm not going to give him $20 if he needs $20. It's not like I delegate the money. It's just make sure the bills.
She had hers set up first.
Right.
So that really, it ain't like I could be like, no, you got to cancel that bank account.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I did. She just kept that one. Yeah, that's pretty much how that went. And that's where we moved from there. What we got?
Yeah, we're at 8. We have 8 minutes.
Okay, 8 minutes. Okay, so we got about 8 minutes left on this. Then we're going to go to the YouTube channel, Happily Married TV. YouTube, subscribe to that. Watch videos. We'll have them on there by midnight. And if they ain't on there by midnight, they'll be in there by the next day. But anyway, moving on. Financial decisions. Okay, so I had an incident where it was like somebody had asked me, I ain't gonna say no names, no specifics. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. But no, okay, so yeah. So people was asking me to borrow money or whatnot, and I'm like, okay, let me talk to the wife and figure out what's going on or whatnot. Oh, you can't do it without checking with your wife. I thought that was your money, and then it did this. But then I'm like, okay, you gotta understand that although it is my money, like, she's the financial person in the house. So even though I'm gonna get it, I still gotta let her know that I'm gonna get it. So it's like that money isn't accounted for. You know what I mean? So like that's how that went.
Well, and one thing about when you're in a marriage, and this should be in any monogamous relationship, is that you should be committed to each other. And being committed to each other means that you trust that person. And in trusting that person, you should feel comfortable talking with that person about any decisions that you make. Not, simple decisions, obviously you could talk to them about it later, like what you had for lunch. Like that's not what I mean. But like, if he did help somebody, and it was a dire emergency, and he knew that the money was available, he could do it and then say, hey, I hadn't had a chance to talk to you about it, but this is what I did, and then how he handled it. Yeah. But as a marriage, regardless of what we do, even as simple as us making plans with our friends, we always say, we might make the plans and then we say to the other person, I have plans on such and such day, does that work for you? Because he might have not known that I had made plans or whatever. But the thing is that people don't realize that being in a marriage, there should be no secrets. You should not keep anything from each other. So when people would get upset at him for him coming to me to talk about something, it wasn't like he was getting permission from me. He was being polite enough to say, hey, this person's asking for help. Is it okay if we help them? Because it depends on the circumstances. Because we don't have funds to fund other people's houses. We're trying to build our empire over here. So now, but we don't have any problem with helping somebody because we understand people are short sometimes. And if we have, we've never been at a position that we couldn't help other people. We've been at points where it might have been our last money, but we could have still helped them because our bills would have been paid and we would have had food and everything. So, but that's the main point of this whole episode, is that understanding that regardless of the decisions that you're making as a couple or a marriage, you should be mindful of the fact that it shouldn't matter what the decisions are. You should still want to talk to each other about them because you're a team. We're a team. Right. We're always a team. It's us against the
It's
world.
us against the world. Everybody, all. Okay, let me calm down. You know, all them enemies and adversaries, not not the people that's on our team and all that. It's us against, but basically, because okay, so so we're gonna talk about this and then we're gonna go to YouTube after this. But the thing is, see, it was like people could come to us and ask for something that we could give it to them. But when it all boiled down to it, we didn't have anybody to go to. So if one of us couldn't do it, it didn't get done. So we had to set it up to where, okay, we got a give account. Like, okay, we got this much money that we can spare, and that's it. Like, because it got ridiculous. Like, people they would ask for something, but then the thing is, they never tried to do it themselves because they knew that they could come to us like, oh no, it's cool. I think I'm not gonna say for sure, but I think they was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try this once, and if this once don't work, I'm gonna call Henry and Jessica because I know I can get it from them. And then, you know what I mean, we had to actually cut people off. Like,
that's like a long message. We should
like, man, we don't have a play account for that. Or our give account ain't that big. Says, hey, Jocelyn, what's happening? Oh, I miss you too, homie. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
What the heck?
We're reconnecting.
We reconnecting. It's going to take a couple seconds.
Well, we only had 3 minutes.
When has that ever happened?
It's never happened.
That's never happened?
No.
Never.
What does that red button say?
Finish.
Which is finished.
Okay.
if you can hear us, we're gonna go to the YouTube channel because we're losing connection.
Yeah, we off pause over here. Poor wireless connection. Your video has been paused. Or you can end the broadcast. We'll end it. Bam. That sucks. Happily Married TV.
That's right. So you gotta stop mine.
All right, I got you. All right, we in.